I'm Lizzy.
And I'm Izzy, and we need help.
Each week we stumble through a new book, method, or concept that brings us one step closer to being our best self.
Yes, we make fun of ourselves.
And others.
But mostly just ourselves. So here's to not taking self-help quite so seriously.
Welcome to We Need Help. I'm Lizzy.
And I'm Izzy. And today's topic, we need family drama.
Family drama. We do need family drama.
I suppose, whether we need it or not, it's fucking happening. So.
Well, yeah, it is part of life, but I think there's a very, very specific reason that we have it.
Yeah.
But I do want to remind everyone that we are the duct tape of self-help. We are not doctors. We are not lawyers. One of us didn't even graduate high school. One of us is me.
I barely graduated.
She was high when she got
So funny story, the ACTs or whatever, I don't know what this all means, but the ACT test. So I took it the first time around. I got a pretty good score. It was like, you're supposed like 31 or 33 is the best you can get. I got like a 28 or something, which is still like pretty good. And then my mom's like, it's not good enough. So you're going to take it again. And I smoked loads of weed before I went in there because I'm like, whatever, like I got a pretty good score, like I'm gonna take it again. They're high, and I got a better score completely high than I did. I got like a 29 or a 30.
Yeah, kids, keep that in mind, kids. If you're gonna go take the ACT,
drugs.
SAT, drugs work.
They worked for me.
The weirdest part about it is I never heard of the ACT or the SAT when I was in high school.
They like didn't
they didn't bring it up. I don't remember anybody saying anything about it.
Yeah, I don't even know why. I went to like
town.
a fancy high school.
Yeah, of course you went to. Even not fancy ones were talking about it, but like ours was in the middle of Central Illinois. It's shut down now. It was just,
it's a condemned building that we had school in.
It's crazy. I think of some of the things that went on there. It's just not right. But anyway, yeah. I turned out great. Look at me.
But that's what I love. I love like the valedictorians, the people who are like most likely to succeed. One of them, to be fair, he was, I think, most likely to be president. Looks like he's got a pretty good life, pretty good career, family life, all seems pretty good. But like those other ones, they're not doing great.
Most likely to end up in jail. Actually did end up in jail, I have to say.
What were you? Did you have any, were you any?
No, I don't think I got any of that. Okay. I don't remember. Like I think I kind of checked out early in school.
Okay.
I didn't really pay attention to much of that, but I do remember our prom queen was so super sweet and nice, and she still is.
Oh, nice.
So I think that is really important. Like, that I think says something.
Yeah.
So, today we're going to talk about family drama, but I did want to remind everybody that the reason we started this podcast is to heal ourselves, and we help each other like good girlfriends should. And if you get anything out of this, that's great, but we're not doctors. So, you do you, okay?
Yeah, go get therapy if you need it. We're not it.
Yeah, we're just coming up with ideas. Like just like, if you sit down with your girlfriend and are hashing about a subject, that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And I had some major thoughts about family drama because we have a wedding going on in our family.
Yeah.
That means things are
drama.
coming to
where there's
surface.
Weddings, there's dramas.
Yeah.
Like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, you don't even think it's going to come. You think your family is the exception. It's not. And I do, so I've been thinking a lot about family drama and what it means. And I think we really need it from like a caveman level, because I think that uh, it reveals weakness in the tribe.
I love that.
Family drama reveals that something is deep down a problem and needs to be secured and needs to be uh,
Addressed.
addressed in some way, shape, and form. But not it, and drama doesn't mean, and I think so many times we've been like, why did I get stuck with this fucking lemon of a family? It's everybody's got the same stuff, and your family is most likely to bring it out of you because they're coping with the same traumas from a different angle. I mean, none of us get out unscathed from childhood. And just because you on your 18th birthday, it's not that you get handed, like, you're just free of your family at that point. Hey guys, remember to go to We Need Help, the podcast, for all different kinds of stuff like our swag. You can find the episodes, you can find the books that we're focusing on, all the methodologies. Please go to We Need Help, the podcast today, and enjoy the rest of the episode.
Have you ever met a family who just seemed like so wholesome and normal and you were just like, whoa?
I've never not been able to debunk a family like that. I've seen them. They
Yeah.
look great on Instagram. They're good Christian families. And, this one that comes to mind, on the outside, they even like adopted a couple of Ethiopian boys. Like they were that, like, they were going to church, they had their children, everybody was always dressed perfectly. On paper and on Instagram, they were great. And the dad had a porn addiction.
I hear that. What about, my mind is automatically going to your little family, like you, Scarlett and Jason. You guys seem good.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
we're
know if
great.
every family has drama. I'm just wondering out loud because I have met a couple families in my lifetime where they have fights and stuff, but there's no real drama, there's no real issues. And I'm just like,
Right.
wow, it's so different from like my
But
family.
we did. I mean, our
Yeah, that's
marriage
true.
almost ended.
Yeah.
We had to literally go into the thick of it and deep down and heal it. And anybody who is saying that they haven't had problems, they're hiding them, they're lying. I know.
Mm,
And I know this because we're here to learn. This is not something that, life is not easy. Even at the very brink of nothing, people that we love die.
yeah.
I mean, there is, and it's just hard sometimes to like get out the door. It's not like, this experience is not supposed to be just, void of anything hard. And I think that we, as family drama shows up in all of our lives, especially, I'm noticing a lot of my friends are kind of coming to terms with
Mm,
what happened in their childhood and dealing with their parents as they're ailing and starting to get
mm,
a little less good at hiding their bullshit, which parents do.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. um I think that, it's really showing up. And I think that we need to feel these feelings because it's a good way to know that we have to heal something that happened.
Yeah. Do you think hardship equals drama though? How would you define family drama?
Well, there are a couple different, I was going to bring this up. when we're talking about family drama, we're not talking about dad coming home and punching mom in the face right now.
That's yeah, that's a little yeah,
That's
dad's
different.
being dramatic again. Yeah.
Yeah. He's trying to control the situation. No, we're not talking about that. And we will post a hotline if you're in an abusive situation. We're not talking about that. We are talking about when you're feeling disappointed or let down or made into a scapegoat or the bad guy of the family, when you feel used or ignored or left out, or you just feel like you're relied on too much, you feel confused, you're getting gaslit, you feel like you're being manipulated, you feel like you're being judged, you feel superior. You feel
Mm,
inferior. These are all these things. Oh, sibling rivalry. I
mm,
mean, there's major sibling rivalries in our family. I have 5 younger sisters. I see it. Um,
wow.
and I think all of these things, we're lucky that we have these feelings because they're bringing up something that is either off or you know if you go back further enough, if you go back further enough in the generations, there is some sort of really bad thing that happened.
There
I
always
mean,
is, and that intergenerational trauma and yeah, and the karma. Don't even get me started on the karma.
girl, don't give me, but we all are dealing with coping mechanisms back from who knows when.
Yeah.
And this is no an enlightened generation, and we're starting to awaken to these things. And this is our chance to stop it, to stop this bullshit. And I think a lot of my friends that I surround myself with are in the crux of saying, okay, I don't want to put this onto my child, even accidentally,
Yeah.
And so, you know, I came up with some things that are helping me right now, and I'm in the moment of healing in this. This is not
Okay.
something that is um I mean, that's why I said we started this podcast so we could heal together and maybe it would help
Yeah, yeah,
somebody
yeah.
else, but this has just been who we are. And some of the things that I have been trying to do, because I'm very codependent in my family. I'm the caretaker. Uh, that's where I get excited in my relationships. And so I can get my heart broken very easily, and I can very easily take a victim role if I
Yeah.
let myself. So a couple of ways that I've noticed that have helped me with my family is I notice there's a problem. And rather than attack the problem, I back away until they figure their end of it out. And I find out my end of it. Because I have been noticing that no matter what, I don't give a shit what it is. It could be something as bad as alcoholism in another member of your family. You have a role in somewhere in it.
Of course. Yeah. It's the whole family systems, it's a system. It's all interconnected. So it's not like it's isolated drama.
Nope.
Everyone's playing a role. So do you would you be open to share an experience? You don't have to. I'm just like it always
No.
helps me to understand by like example. So
Let me give you a broad
yeah.
example. If I have a sister that's controlling, she's wanting to manipulate and control the situation,
Yeah.
whatever it is. I can either allow it, let her manipulate and control it. I can either fight it and say, fuck you. Both very, 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 responsible roles.
Mm.
Or I can step back and watch and wait and see, like, not, not actively take a part in any of it. Whether don't fight it, don't don't allow, just step back a little bit. And I've always said this, you don't have to make a spectacle of drawing a line in the sand. You just
Yeah, I think that's
slowly.
where people get into this, I have to set a boundary, and they have to make a spectacle of it, and you don't really have to.
Boundaries, you do not, they don't have to you don't have to be on a microphone to set a boundary. Mm-mm. No, hold it.
Testing, 1, 2.
Is this thing on? I'm done. Yeah. So holding that or backing away is
Yeah.
a boundary.
Hmm.
And it does in a silent boundary. I love silent boundaries.
Mm,
You know, most people don't even notice them, but they
mm.
help me.
Yeah.
They put me a little padding between me and whatever is happening till I figure out my role in it and where I want to be and how I want to be. And,
How do you
you
figure out
know,
your role in it? Like, do you have any techniques, or like, what do you do to see your role in it?
well, I mean, usually they're telling you what your role is. I mean, if somebody is trying to control you, they don't want you to be active in it.
Uh-huh.
So they're telling you that they need you to be less in their presence,
Mhm.
so, or they want you to fight for them, which is also not a, something I don't want to fight in my life.
Mm.
I just don't want to fight. So, you know, most people are actually even telling you pretty clearly um, that either they're rejecting you and they don't want you, but you don't want to listen to that. You want to fight for because you're good enough and you're like they're working with their own shit, and it's like I think we fight for some things that we don't even want in our family.
Like, can you give me another example? Like,
For example, well, okay, I'll ask you. You want your family to be out at your house
yeah.
all the time, right? Are they fun?
Mm. No. I want them
The
to
end.
be there and be happy. If they're not if they're there and they're not happy, I don't want them there.
Do they appreciate your gifts?
No. No.
Okay. So why would you want someone around you
Yeah.
that doesn't appreciate your gifts or make you have fun?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. You're fighting for something you actually don't even want.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do it all the time.
I
I
think it's like this fantasy that we all have in our heads of what the family is supposed to look like and what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I want them to accept me and love me unconditionally. And why? They don't appreciate you at all. You know what I mean? I'm not at all, but I'm just saying, like, that's one example
Yeah.
of what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be a part of something, but they actually don't want anything. They don't like my opinions. They don't
Yeah.
appreciate my views and they don't love my taste. Okay. Why am I fighting to be there? You
Yeah.
know,
Makes no sense.
it's
And that's your part. Yeah.
that's my part.
Yeah.
Stop fighting it. And then, I think a huge thing is when we realize that someone is a difficult person, and we've all got them, we might be them, whatever, you know, understand that they're dealing with something at their capacity and loving them anyway is a really, really hard but safe thing to do. Making someone out to be a villain in your story is not helping anybody,
Mm.
and like when, and my mom wouldn't mind me saying this, when my mom was in the crux of deep, dark alcohol ism and depression, I loved her anyway. I loved her no matter what. And it didn't mean that I had to crawl into bed with her and drink you know, a freaking mouthwash with her. I just had to love her anyway. And,
Mm,
not standing in the freight train, but just, I mean, just say you love them.
yeah,
And then showing compassion is another way that I think that we can be better
yeah.
about family drama is like, okay, listen, you're not the only one that was hurt in your family. All of us were hurt. And sometimes we're not as good at coping at it as you, you know, like maybe I've gone to therapy and maybe I've done this and I've done that. And maybe my sister isn't there yet with it, and showing that compassion and grace, okay, she's just not there yet. I do that all the time with people. Be like, why the hell are you eating red dye? They're just not there, not yet. They're not
Mhm.
ready to hear the message. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
uh, so, and then I think at all times, if you're having trouble in your family, you need to get your own help and don't worry about other people's help. Like, get your own therapy. It will do wonders.
yeah. So, can you share on how that helped you?
Yeah, well, therapy and there's so many different therapists out there. I use betterhelp.com.
Yeah, and
Um,
you've used Candace quite a bit too, which who we've
I've used
mentioned.
Candace as an energy worker and a healer, and just she's absolutely unbelievable. Um, when somebody listens to you and somebody helps you and you decide you're going to get better void of what happens with another, there is something there. And, you decide not to be the victim of it. It's just that's what it is. It's a lack of victim. So many of us, we we decide to write off family. And I don't know, for each their own, to each their own, but you don't have to make a spectacle of learning how to protect yourself like that all the time.
Yeah,
I'm not saying there's not times that it's important, but it's like I've been lucky enough to love enough people and lose enough people that it's gonna hurt when they die if you haven't shown love and compassion and understanding and grace and placed your own accountability as in the forefront of your mind. I just believe that.
yeah,
So, I mean, we're all learning together, and it's kind of interesting to see how living in the same households with our siblings really are affected much differently.
that's interesting because you have 5 sisters.
Mhm.
How did how are you all different? How are you all reacting differently to the upbringing?
Some of us look at it, as a learning, or as a wonderful experience, of learning. And some of us are just so pissed and frustrated that it didn't go better. And, that's a tough, that right there. I mean, if you look at that, we have an interesting setup, and it's not really fair. Like you and your brother have the same parents and everything.
Mhm.
Well, I have my family tree looks more like a family bush, like
A push from the
burning bush,
70s.
burning bush. Yeah, exactly. A 70s bush,
Not a
but
not a 90s or a 2000s bush where it's
not that little strip. But yeah, so my family's a little different. And, when you have different moms
yeah,
involved, it's really because you actually take on your mother's trauma if you don't deal with it. So
yeah,
I'm seeing a lot of people dealing with it, as their moms did or whatever. So it's kind of different for us. And, but like my sister and I, we really have taught each other a lot, um, by dealing with things differently and having
mm,
to face that again and face it again and face it again. And, I do love so many people are so angry at their parents, but I always say this, like, you do realize it's their first time on earth too.
yeah, maybe.
Maybe we know.
What, I'm wondering what makes the difference? Like, what makes the difference? Because my brother and I also radically different approaches to life now. Pretty much the same upbringing. I'm just wondering, what is that difference? Like, why are some people not willing to do some self-reflection and do that, put in that work, and why some people are? Did we just get lucky?
No, I
Okay.
believe it really has to do with the harmony in the womb
Mm,
and whether or not cortisol is being pumped through your baby.
mm,
It has to do with toxins. It has to do with, this is just my belief. I believe that it has to do with where your mom and dad are the minute that baby's born. They're two different people. Your
mm.
brother had a different mother than you did. My sister had a totally different mother than I did.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So I mean, look at how much we've changed in the last 2 or 3 years.
yeah.
And so I'm a completely different person than I was. I just said this the other day. If you knew me 10 years ago, you don't know me at all
That's
today.
absolutely true. Like, me having a baby 2 years ago would be different for me having a baby now. Right. Yeah.
You would be a
Fine.
totally different human
Yeah.
being. You have more tools, you have less of other things. You have,
Yeah.
so we're each getting a parent that's different in the time that it's
Yeah. That's interesting.
happening.
But
And
so we did get lucky in essence. The timing was just better.
or my sister got lucky. I mean, to be honest, like my sister is, if I look at it like from that perspective, like she is so intelligent. She's so creative. She has gifts that I don't have. And it's like, you know, I wouldn't call necessarily any of it luck or not luck. Yes, we have developed the tools to deal with things in a positive way, but I don't think it makes us better or worse than our brothers or
Mm,
sisters. And like one of the things that um we can really do, and this is something that says that we are not dealing with it in a great way, is if you feel superior or inferior to your family
yeah,
members.
no, I don't. I just feel like I've gotten something that makes, because I think my brother is suffering. I see him suffering, and I'm not suffering anymore. And it doesn't make me feel superior. It just makes me feel, I don't know if luckier is the word, or blessed, because I don't like that word, but it's almost like I don't feel guilty, but it's a certain like almost like a survivor guilt. Like, why did I get it and he didn't, you know?
Well, he might be learning harder lessons and be at a
Yeah,
higher level in this game.
yeah. We should do,
You
I
don't
would love to
know.
do a
You
book
don't
on
know.
karma and like how karma affects, like our lessons. Because I think what Candace was saying was really interesting when we had her on as a guest, is almost that we choose our karma before we come into it, into this
Mhm.
world. And I wonder, like, I often wonder about that. Like, he just got tougher karma, you
I
know?
think if I really had to think about it, like, my brother, lived a really, really interesting and some people might say hard, but he was here to learn the lessons that he was here to learn. And frankly, uh, sometimes I say he was a new soul,
Mm,
but you know, I think that's a really important thing to think about when it comes to family drama. There
mm.
is nobody that's further along or better off. We're all just doing our thing. And I, you know, I I spent a lot of my life trying to be better than my family. And you know what I realized? I'm not better than my family. Turns
I'm
out
much worse.
I'm actually, I wouldn't even say I'm worse.
No,
We're
I'm joking.
all, God, we're all just doing it. And it's like, it's hard to get to separate that comparison, especially with siblings,
Yeah.
and parents. Like, oh my God, I can't believe my mom would have done this. I said this morning. I was like, I don't know why my parents like went to the bar on Friday nights and
Yeah.
left us at home. I would
But you know
never
what's
have done
also
that.
super interesting? The fact that you mentioned that my brother had, had a different mom and your sister had a different mom. Even now, I think they have different moms. Like
Yes, they
now,
do.
because it was funny. I called my brother recently. I'm like, I wasn't complaining about my mom. I was just stating like my relationship with mom looks like this, and this. And he's like, she never says that to me. Like my relationship, my brother has a different mother than I do. It's the same mom,
100%.
but it's a different mom. So that's
And
interesting
you
too.
and you trigger different coping skills in her, and so does he.
Yeah. Super
And
interesting.
I see that with my sister and I have two totally different mothers. Two totally different mothers. It's unreal. It's
Yeah.
unreal. So the only one that's like 100% the same to each of their children is my father.
Yeah.
He does not change for
Yeah. I
anybody.
love him.
He's so funny. I mean, we call it like he's just so damn funny. And if you can get to a place where your family's really funny, I think that's the healthiest place to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
he can't, if I have never been on the phone with him where he hasn't somehow said something demeaning to women, or it's so good. It's so good. I hope that everybody finds the funny in their family.
I think that's the best way to deal with the family drama is make it funny.
It's so funny. My
So,
dad,
yeah,
we have a Facebook page called Billy T-isms. And my sisters and I just go on and quote these crazy things he says.
that's
Like,
fantastic.
I mean, whether they be sexist, racist, embarrassing. Like there was a while there that he wouldn't go out in public with any of us without saying that none of us were conceived in marriage. He'd tell random strangers that.
And if you don't make that funny, then that's family drama. But you got to
It's
turn
either
your drama
family
into
comedy,
comedic gold.
or our family is like a dramatic comedy,
A dramedy.
a dramedy. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, so
So, any
crazy.
other advice to our listeners who might be struggling with some family drama? Anything that helps you?
I mean, the finding the funny in it is the number one.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I find it like so crazy that like this is and the like we all ended up together because our parents got it on, and
Ew.
their parents got it on, and the parents before that got it on. It's just a bunch of just sweaty. Isn't it
Stop.
weird? It's like the families are weird. Stay weird.
Stay weird.
Stay weird. That's my advice. Until next time. See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Thank you so much for joining us this week on We Need Help, the podcast.
Make sure to like, subscribe, like again our YouTube channel, our Instagram, follow us wherever you can. It really, really helps us out and ensures that you won't miss any future episodes. So, yep, thanks to you, we can keep going.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.